Hey guys, I just wanted to do a small review about the Dell monitor I recently bought, the Dell 2415, and I also want to compare it to the Dell 2412M, which is an older model. It's like 2-3 years old, and they're both 24 inch, they're both 60 by 10 ratio, and I want to see how they stack up against each other. So, without any further ado, here's my impression.
The reason for this review is that I wanted to get a new second screen that goes with my old Dell monitor. So I wanted another 24 inch that supported the 60 by 10 aspect ratio, which ultimately led me to the Dell u2415. I bought this monitor for 4 major reasons. First, good viewing angles. I needed something that I could look at from an angle and still have nice vibrant colors. Second, a good display foot that allows to adjust the height and rotate the screen. Dell really makes one of the best in that regard. Third, HDMI ports. I wanted a monitor that I could use to hook up my game consoles like my Wii U. This allows me to use the monitor for work and for pleasure. Fourth, like I said previously, the 60 by 10 aspect ratio, it just gives a little bit more height, which is very nice when browsing the web, playing games on the PC or doing anything related to text editing. So when I bought this monitor, I felt like it was the right choice. It had everything that I needed. After installing the monitor, I found out that it had one major downside, which ultimately made me to decide to return the monitor. The reason for this is that the Dell U2415 doesn't support the 60 by 9 aspect ratio. What this means is that when you hook up your game console, the image will get stretched to 16 by 10, so everything looks kinda weird. Although it's not clear to see, it just doesn't look right. The monitor does support 4 by 5 and 4 by 3 aspect ratio. However, I wonder how many display or HDMI devices have such aspect ratio, besides maybe the Nexus 9 or the iPad. Another issue I encountered during my short use of this monitor are the touch buttons, which sometimes respond and sometimes they don't. I don't really know what causes it and why they just don't respond over my fingers, but it makes operating the menu more troublesome than need be. With all the negativity, you would start to think the monitor isn't any good. But that's not the case. It's good. It's very good. Something I came to expect from Dell. It's sturdy, looks nice, the screen is already calibrated to show somewhat accurate colors without fooling around with the settings, which you of course can do by selecting the custom presets. Off the bat, the screen looks nice, although a bit bright, with brightness and contrast set to 75. The first thing I did was put the brightness a bit down so I wouldn't get blinded. This means you can easily use the monitor in places with clear daylight or in bright offices. The colors look warm, especially compared to my older u2412M, which is a bit more bluish. I personally prefer the older Dell module because whites tend to look more like actual whites. That said, at my work we got multiple u2412Ms, which are only a year old, and those panels tend to be a bit warmer compared to the model I got. So it could be that Dell changed the display panel through the years, and my bet is that the Dell U2415 and the U2412 aren't far off each other when we are comparing colors. When we compare bezels, the older U2412M clearly has the larger ones, where the U2415 only has bezels as large as 1 mm. I don't know if millimeter is an actual word in English, but you know what I mean, it's small. However, don't get fooled by the small bezels. There's a large black border inside of the screen which is about 1 cm wide on all edges except for the bottom. I feel it kinda looks weird, like Windows isn't using all the full space, but it doesn't bother me during normal use. Both screens do well when it comes to ghosting. In normal use you won't notice it, and if you look for it you see there is some when bright pixels move to dark spaces. Both monitors got a tiny bit of ghosting, however, you really have to go look for it if you want to see it. Input lag is not noticeable and appears to be somewhat the same on both monitors. They both perform excellent. I play all sorts of games like Counter-Strike, League of Legends and Battlefield, and never felt the monitor wasn't fast enough for me. I didn't feel like other gamers had the edge over me, but then again I never used the 1ms TN panel. So both monitors are pretty equal, and it comes down to what is important to you. The older Dell u2412M is a bit cheaper, or at least in the Netherlands it is. I like that it supports not only the DisplayPort but also DVI, which a lot of graphic cards tend to have one or two of, leaving you with more room to hook up your other displays or televisions to your device. The new Dell u2415 on the other hand has thinner bezels, a flicker-free screen for if you have sensitive eyes, which I don't, and only my camera can detect it. It has 2 HDMI and 2 display ports, which allow you to hook up multiple devices. However, try to find a device that supports 16:10 aspect ratio, which isn't your computer. Both are great PC monitors that unfortunately aren't any good if you want to game on consoles. If you want to do both, I recommend you do the same as me and look for them. This was my review of the Dell u2415 compared to the u2412M. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, hit the like button. And maybe I'll see you guys later.